It is that time of the week here again with Friday Night Meta, where we give you the latest and greatest updates in terms of the stack ranking here of the best decks currently across the formats and in best of one and best of three. Thank you for tuning in. As always, appreciate your support. Down below, you will find the timestamps where we let you know all that we just talked about. Additionally, we'll pull it all back together as we always do. So thank you for tuning in. And if you happen to have a question or comment throughout today's episode, you let me know. I love to hear from you as always, and feel free to swing by the Discord server. All right, so here's what we got going on right now. Mono white humans remains at the top here for standard best of one. We have mono red aggro followed by Azora soldiers, mono red burn, Selesnya enchantments, 5-color domain, Azora's control, and mono blue tempo. On the right, you can see most of the decks that are being played, really those top four between mono white humans, mono red burn, Selesnya enchantments, and mono red aggro being the key decks here in standard best of one. Now, this is at an aggregate. We are about halfway through the June season, which is a big piece as always. And as you can see here, we see a lot of that popularity trending down there, trending up there. Additionally, a few changes here as well when it comes to that Azora's control. And then the win rates here, mono white still being heavily dominating. And then right below that, Azora Soldier slowly falling out of favor as we see a rise in mono red aggro, and some of the other decks moving around there as well, like mono blue tempo as an example. Let's go ahead and check out Mythic. Now, here's what we do have at Mythic. Still mono white humans, mono red aggro, Selesnya enchantments. We do have Gruul aggro up here, something a little bit different, and mono black control, and Grixis mid-range, a little bit of mono blue tempo. So a little bit of a different flavor here up in Mythic in terms of what is being played, which is always nice to see as we drill into that piece as well. So let's pull all the way back out. Let's take a look at best of three. Best of three, we got Azora Soldiers on the top, mono red aggro, 5-color domain, Esper Legends, Selesnya enchantments, Azora's control, dimmer midrange, and Esper control. Here on the right, dimmer midrange being one of the top lists. I really do like that one. And you can see everything else there. Now, here's that big rise in that dimmer mid-range. As you can see there, big changes. Everything else kind of coming down a little bit, particularly that 5-color domain. We do see that again after that banned and restricted changes. And then that win rate, we got that mono red aggro still doing probably the best and doing fairly well overall. We do see that Esper Legends falling, and then we see some of the other stuff moving up as well. So big pieces to pay attention to. As always, let's go ahead and see what's happening in Mythic. We do have mono red aggro, 5-color domain, and Selesnya enchantments here. And these are a couple of the key ones to pay attention to from that lens as well. All right, so here's what we got. We got Alchemy next. Alchemy, we got Selesnya enchantments, 5-color reanimator, Rakdos sacrifice, mono red aggro, Grixis midrange, mono black control, dimmer oracle, and that mono blue tempo there. Heavy domination by mono red aggro, mono black control. And again, we can see this mono red aggro falling off. We do see some of these other things there. So really what's probably going on is a lot of people playing different decks and different lists here. And we do see that Selesnya enchantments holding very steady and a nice win rate there at 65 in Alchemy best of one. Let's see if there's anything in Mythic. No details in Mythic. Best of three, we do have a couple of things. 5-color reanimator, Grixis midrange, and mono red aggro. Heavily dominated by Grixis midrange. All right. We're going to flip over to Historic now. Now, Historic, we're expecting a lot of changes, potentially in Alchemy as well with the new Lord of the Rings set. So looking forward to seeing those implications and impacts here over the coming weeks, which is going to be great. I'm certainly excited for the new set here. All right, Esper Affinity, Rakdos midrange, mono red goblins, Izzet Wizard, 5-color reanimator, mono red burn, mono green elves, and Azora's control for us in best of one. And then as you can see, Izzet Wizards being one of the key play decks, followed by mono green elves. Here down below, you can see that win rate bouncing around, particularly with that Esper Affinity having a nice spike, and then that Rakdos midrange having a great late spike there. And then we do see Azora's control falling off. as well as Selesnya Angels falling off. So lots of movement here in Historic, which is always great to see, and similar with these other past win rates there as well. Let's see what we got going on in Mythic. Here we don't have any great information, so we'll keep an eye on that as things continue to unfold here this month. Best of 3, we have Gruul Goblins at the top. 5-color Animator, Is It Wizards, Mono Green Devotion, 4-color Kethis, Rakdos midrange, Joan midrange, and Azor's Control. Heavily dominated really by these 4 at the top. And then here you can see popularity over time. We do see Rakdos falling off. Mono Green Devotion kind of steady Eddie. We do see that Azor's Control picking up. Some of the other things falling off. And a really, really nice pop there on 5-color Reanimator. And a steady win upwards momentum in Gruul Goblins as well. A list that we just covered this week that you can check out here on the channel. All right, let's see Mythic. Do we have anything? We do have some in Historic best of 3 here. Mono Green Devotion, 5-color Reanimator, Rakdos midrange, and Azor's Control there for you. All right, let's pull it all the way back and move into our last best of 1, best of 3 here with Explorer. Explorer, we got Mono White Humans at the top, Azor's Control, Abzan Greasefang, Selesnya Angels, Boros Convoke, Rakdos midrange, Mono Green Devotion, and Dimmer Rogues. Here you can see how things are trending. Selesnya Angels falling off. We see that spike in Mono Green Devotion. Other things coming up as well. And then win rate over time. We do see some battling it out. Really between Azor's Control Humans and Selesnya Angels. So big things to pay attention to. Lots of movement, which is always great. Like to see that because that means things tend to get mixed up and moved around. All right, Mythic, nothing in Mythic. All right, Explorer best of 3. It is right here with Rakdos Sacrifice, followed by Mono White Humans, 5-color Fires, then Mono Green Devotion, Azor's Control, Rakdos midrange, Dimmer Rogues, and Abzan Greasefang. Heavily dominated really by Rakdos midrange, Green Devotion, 5-color Fires, close as well, and there is Azor's Control and Rakdos Sacrifice. Then as we look at the popularity over time, certainly Rakdos midrange is held up, Mono Green Devotion is held up. We do see some rise here in that Azor's Control and rise in that 5-color Fires. And then win rate over time, we do see Rakdos Sacrifice popping right up there at the end, as well as Mono White Humans. We've seen some pretty steady 5-color Fires as well. Lots of great movement, which is fun to see. And that will conclude, most likely, not yet. We do have some Mythic going on in Explorer best of 3, 5-color Fires, Mono Green Devotion, Abzan Greasefang, Mono White Humans, Rakdos midrange, and Dimmer Rogues. And that will be that. All right, so that concludes our best of 3, best of 1 formats. Let us see how Historic Brawl is doing here this week. Ragavan at the top, very close with Atraxa, Rusko in there, Itali, the first sliver, Emoti, Atraxa, and Go Shintai. And then on the right, we do see Itali at 5.1%, Emoti, Ragavan's fallen off, Rusko's fallen off, which is great to see. Lots of changes here in terms of what's been happening. Itali's coming a little bit back up. We did see that pop in Emoti in terms of popularity coming over Itali, and then some of these other things still continue to trend down. And then win rate over time, we do see Atraxa and our friend Ragavan being tightly wound in knit. Rusko still right in that middle, hasn't been able to eclipse those two. And then again, Itali there and a few of the other ones as well. So that is our Historic Brawl. That brings us all the way back for our week here. As we wrap it up and conclude, we've seen a few changes in terms of the meta. Lots of things bouncing around, which is great to see in some of the other formats like Explorer and Historic. And additionally, we expect some changes to be coming soon with Lord of the Rings. So let's enjoy this or enjoy after, whichever one is the one that you want. We'll wait for it or enjoy it when it's here. So with that, thank you for tuning in. As always, this is our weekly series here on the channel, Friday Night Meta. Appreciate your support as always. Thank you for the likes and the subs as we continue to grow this amazing community. And always thank you to the members as well. Now, with that, if you have a question or comment throughout today, let me know. I'd love to hear from you, and feel free to swing by the Discord server and join the community there as well. So we got a ton of great Magic the Gathering content available to you here on the channel. Lots of decks, things you can check out, and additionally more headed your way. So until next time, we'll see you soon. Until then, Mythras out of here. Enjoy all the pre-releases going on as well. All right, we'll see you soon.